Hey, Church 5 in Philippi, hope you're doing well. I had a great day right before supper. I was able to kind of secure our garden, our new garden plot. We didn't have a garden last year, so family's stoked about that. And I was able to kind of carve out a moss path in our garden and spray that with buttermilk. I've never done that before, and so just a really good afternoon. Sun came out, it's fantastic. Had a great supper, and so now I'm ready to sit down. 5 in Philippi, chapter 4. Let me read this. We're just going to look at the first or the next two verses before it really starts getting deeper and deeper. Verse 4, rejoice in the Lord always. Again I say, rejoice. Let your reasonableness be known to all. Rejoice in the Lord. The foundation of really Philippians, of the church, and maybe Paul still has this conflict we talked about yesterday in mind. And so he's saying, look, one of the ways to navigate conflict, or one of the ways to continue to grow as a church, specific and general, is to rejoice. This is a command. If you and I do not command joy in our lives, if we don't discipline joy in our lives by focusing in the Lord, on the promises of the Lord, what we went over, the chapter 2 and chapter 3 stuff, then our joy just hangs on circumstances. Our joy hangs on when the quarantine's lifted. Our joy hangs on if we're doing well or if we're not. Our joy, goodness gracious, I know there are some really difficult things with jobs out there right now. And so we have to be a church that commands joy. This is a command that we are to be a people that command belief in the Lord, that commands joy in the Lord. The only way to have joy always is by our joy being commanded in the Lord. Listen, everybody's after this, whether you're a Christian or not a Christian. Everybody wants joy always. Everybody wants to rejoice always, and not some light, fluffy, skipping through the field kind of joy, but a cemented, real, deep joy. Always. That's a crazy thing to say. Always, every time, every moment, whether there's a COVID-19 or not, you are to be people that rejoice. And I say it again. Rejoice. And so he's going to say, rejoice in the Lord, do that now. And then he's going to say, I will say again, as if to say, I'm going to say in the future, it's going to be my message in the future, joy in the Lord, joy in the Lord, joy in the Lord. It's going to be my message. It's not going to change. That we are to be people who rejoice always. We have to be a church that help one another fight for joy. Let's keep going. In verse 5, it says, let your reasonableness be known to all. So we're to be rejoicing always, but also allowing our reasonableness, or translated gentleness, known to all. We are to be gentle people. We are to be kind people. We talked last week, especially with this COVID-19, we are not to be people of extremes. We are to be gentle, and we are to be kind, and we are to be considerate. We are to be thoughtful of others. This goes back to chapter 2. This is a mindset of being humble. We're not to be loud. We're not to be obnoxious. We're to be meek. And we can go back to the end of verse 3, where it says, because their names are written in the book of life. The true church of Jesus Christ, their names are written in the book of life. And so we can rejoice always, and we can let our reasonableness or our gentleness be known to all. And that is amped up even more in the age of Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. We are to be able to look at our social media. We are to be able to look at the words that we say, our actions that we do to one another, and say, is this reasonable? Is this gospel reasonableness? Is this gospel gentleness? So church, as we fight, our joblessness, as we fight not being able to answer questions, as we fight maybe some anxiety and some worry, as we fight some anger maybe, don't forget, rejoice in the Lord always. And again, I'm going to continue to say over and over again, rejoice and be gentle to all. Love you.